Communicating causes anxiety for many students and professionals. Today, I'll focus on public speaking because it's where the anxiety is most evident. But many of the tips can be applied to writing too. I asked you to fill out the assessment tool called the Personal Report of Public Speaking Anxiety. I find it useful for taking stock of where we fall in the spectrum of public speaking nerves. Your results might surprise you, but what will probably surprise you more is looking at the results in context. Virginia Richmond and James McCroskey are the authors of this tool. They report that only 5% of people come in at a low level of anxiety. Another 5% at a moderately low level of anxiety. Everyone else has a moderate level of anxiety when they public speak, at the very least. 40% of people say they experience anxiety at the highest level. What does this mean for us? Almost everyone is scared when they stand in front of a crowd. There's a misconception out there that to be a strong public speaker, it needs to come naturally to you. I hope that this assessment tool dispels that myth. But in case it doesn't, let's see what Hillary Clinton has to say. I'm not Barack Obama. I'm not Bill Clinton. Both of them carry themselves with a naturalness that is very appealing to audiences. But I'm married to one and I've worked for the other, so I know how hard they work at being natural. It's not something they just dial in. They work and they practice what they're going to say. It's not that they're trying to be somebody else, but it's hard work to present yourself in the best possible way. That's from an interview she did on the popular blog Humans of New York. I've posted the link below. Do you agree with what she's saying? Let me know on Twitter using the course hashtag. I personally love this. I think it counters the idea of naturalness and public speaking. It tells us that public speaking is a skill, just like reading or writing. We have to work hard to be good at it. In Module 3, we'll discuss how to practice and deliver your remarks well. So yes, practice is one way we can ease our anxieties, but what are others? In the TED Talk I asked you to watch, the folk singer Joe Cowan talks about how he dealt with his stage fright, particularly the physiological symptoms he'd experience. Breaking down Joe's successful process for overcoming his anxiety is instructive to how we can approach our own fears. First of all, he self-assessed. He discovered what component of public speaking he was scared of. In this case, he's scared of the spotlight. McCaskey, that same researcher who developed the survey we did, says there are 5 main sources of communication apprehension: fear of others, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of breaking the rules, and fear of the spotlight. So step 1 is to label the source of your anxiety. Step 2 is to figure out how to deal with it. For Joe, his symptoms were physiological and directly hindering his performance. This isn't always the case. Sometimes your symptoms are physiological, but they don't interfere with your speech. Something like a rapidly beating heart. In this instance, positive self-talk, like repeating the mantra, "No one knows how I am feeling right now," can help. So can deep breathing. Other times, your symptoms aren't physiological at all. Maybe you have a fear of failure and you keep forgetting what you're going to say. The week before your speech, you wake up in the middle of the night and worry. Tactics like visualizing your success or meditation can be helpful in this scenario. Joe was really creative in his approach. He built the symptoms directly into his performance, which gave him confidence from the beginning. It also warmed up the audience and created an inviting atmosphere and energy for him to feed from. Practice is the #1 way of coming off natural and polished, as Hillary Clinton pointed out. And we'll be exploring that soon. But here are some other ways to deal with your public speaking fears. Write about them in a journal. Focus on your purpose and what you're trying to accomplish in your speech. Check out the environment where you'll be presenting beforehand. Get to know people in the audience. Laura Vanderkam talks about doing this in the article, The Introvert at the Podium. When possible, try to get the audience to interact, get some natural energy flowing. Think through problems ahead of time and how you're going to deal with them. And as I already mentioned, deep breathing, visualization, and meditation are helpful. As always, this isn't a comprehensive list. Let me know what I'm missing using the course hashtag.